So I'm going to make extensive use of the smart board.
Yay, excellent.
Slide aside. Can I just hit show my desktop? Okay, so hi everybody. I'm really pleased with the introduction statements made so far because I think they really inform what I'm going to be showing you, which is basically why learning Torah online. And I'm coming about this from the perspective of an autodidact, of the person who does self-directed learning. I don't have a relationship formally with an established Jewish organization. Perhaps I'm a person who lives in the middle of nowhere and the only Jewish organization that's available to me is Chabad and I'm not really comfortable there. Maybe the only available to me is really expensive and I can't afford it. Whatever the case may be, you may have heard about, for example, people who are self-radicalizing on the internet, becoming political extremists online because they're spending all their time doing this research online to develop, their thoughts and beliefs, and they're encountering a lot of different information. Well, I think people are self-ramifying. They're becoming religious by studying Jewish material online. But the problem that we're facing right now is that the way that Jewish material is organized, printed, and the way that we're able to interact with it is sufficient to the needs of the people who are actually trying to do that learning, myself being included. The first thing I'm going to show you is Google, because obviously everybody is going to Google to find the information that they're looking for. And so let's say I go to Google and I say, learn my bar mitzvah portion, because that's important to me. The first things that show up when I go to look for how to learn my bar mitzvah portion are all just terrible. I've got this source from the Jewish Agency for Israel. I've got this source from My Jewish Learning, and I just want to show you a couple things about these two. I think actually, amusingly enough, that the Jackie one is actually really informative in the sense that it tells you here are the different steps that you need to go through insofar as how do you identify your Hebrew birthday, therefore how do you identify your Parsha, what do you need to learn for your Parsha. All this stuff is completely disjointed, not connected to each other, and not organized in an efficient way. With My Jewish Learning, I'm sad to say, because it's the only pluralistic site online for this kind of material, that when you go to look up how to kind of get information about learning your bar mitzvah portion, there's nothing. There's virtually nothing here at all. If I click on, I don't know if that's loading or not, but if I go to planning a bar mitzvah, you don't really get that kind of information that tells you the top list of how to learn your Torah portion, what you're supposed to be looking at for, I have an article from Arthur Wasco and Phyllis Berman, that's great, but it's not useful for me if I want to learn how to actually lane my bar mitzvah portion. So actually the way that our sites are set up right now, just a matter of the content that's available is insufficient to the learning that we want to do. So content development online is something that really needs to be invested in. Then again, I have H.com is an option in my top 5 links on Google, right? Again, not pluralistic, giving a very specific perspective on what a bar mitzvah is, and again, providing kind of helpful information to an extent, but again, I'm still not learning Torah here. How am I supposed to learn my bar mitzvah portion? There's nothing about actually learning Torah. So this takes me to what are our available resources for learning Torah online. So I've got Nechon Mamre, right, which provides to me the text of the Tanakh online. Whoa, what's going on here? It's all in Hebrew. I can't tell how to read this thing. What's going on? I don't know much about learning, reading Hebrew or laning Torah. So maybe I can make out that my bar mitzvah portion is going to be Bereshis, right? So I'm going to look in, okay, here's this, and that's great, but there's no translation, there's no transliteration, there's no cross-referencing of the material, there's no audio, there's nothing for me. So what am I going to do here? Well, my next option is to go to Chabad website, right? Because Chabad has the entire text of the Tanakh online with a parallel translation. So this is going to be useful for me for getting my translation, right? But I still have another problem. There's nothing with audio. How am I going to get my translation and my audio? Exactly, Orc, right? So before I get to Orc, I just want to show you my cross-referencing. So this is Wikisource. This is the Tanakh being encoded by individuals of their free volition and made a cross-referenced version of the Tanakh. So here's my cross-referenced verse, and it'll give me the translation there. And this is about it. This is as good as it gets for the etymology of the words, synonyms, etc., so that I can actually learn what text means as I'm reading it. As you can see so far, these aren't great resources. And if I don't want to play around in Wikipedia, which, by the way, has an incomplete Tanakh, it hasn't even been finished yet, where do I have to go? I can use Morphix, right, the Hebrew search engine, the Hebrew Online Dictionary to get translations for every word. But the problem there is this site is also completely in Hebrew, right? So my translations are, but the whole interface of the site is in Hebrew, so how am I supposed to look up Hebrew words online? No tools for that. So then I have my best option currently is navigating the Bible from Origin. This is my best option. Start with the problems with this one. First of all, this audio is Real Player. If you don't have Real Player installed on your computer, this audio won't work. Real Player is a technology that was pretty much phased out of popular use at least 5 years ago. So nobody even really has this installed on their computers anymore.
It's the audio file actually takes the audio they need. So that's just what's created and all that. It's never been updated. It's an easy migration.
Other problem. This text, I cannot select this text because this is actually a graphic. This is a graphic file, not actual copy and pasteable text. So if I just wanted to grab this and use it, I can't really because it's just an image file. None of this stuff is clickable. I can't get the translation of the actual word. I can't see what word they're actually laning when they're laning it to learn the word I'm actually pronouncing when I'm trying to pronounce it. So then what are my next options? Well, so now we have sites like Sitter Audio, right, which are great for learning your davening. So with Sitter Audio, you come here, you pick like, oh, let's see, I want to learn service. Okay, I want to learn my brachas for whoops, there we go. The window pops open, it's got an embedded player, it's going to start reading to me this text with the appropriate trope or whatever, but it's not going to show me what word's being said again, right? So I'm kind of just like memorizing sounds and not really actually learning how to lane Torah. Well, there it is. Okay, anyway. So for you all see how confusing and difficult this is if I'm a novice, because chances are I don't even know what any of these websites are. I've never heard of them. I certainly couldn't find them through Google conveniently. They're not organized in one place for me. So how am I supposed to find this stuff to begin with? There's another site, learnthetrope.com. This one is actually better than Sitter Audio in the sense that I can actually learn the trope and see how it's pronounced while I can get the notation. Great, except the whole thing is built in Flash, which means it won't work on any mobile devices. Steve Jobs, you might have heard recently, had a little letter about why Flash is being phased out completely, because it's a proprietary technology, it's expensive to implement, it'll crash your computer pretty darn easily, and there are new open source standards, HTML5 and CSS3 with JavaScript, that are going to completely replace all the functionality of Flash. So that's a dead option. So now our best option for actually having this stuff pronounced is a tool like Web Anywhere, which is text-to-speech for the web. So now, wouldn't it be great if this actually worked in Hebrew? Well, this is an open source tool. If you wanted to build the library that would actually translate the stuff into Hebrew, you could implement it and use it. But it hasn't been done yet because nobody in the Jewish community is investing in doing that sort of stuff.